your feet on the ground, and don't forget where you came from. This is a blip. You're here one day, gone tomorrow. It could be easily just as easily as that. And just enjoy the ride too, because it's fabulous at the same time.
That's good advice. I mean, like when people join this show just from doing what I'm doing, they often ask me for advice, and that's the best. I think that's the best advice. Like I have the same philosophy on life that you do. None of this really matters. Where health is what counts. This is a blip. It'll be a beginning, a middle, and an end for everybody. You have to
Right.
just realize this. I mean, it's clear that you realize that. It's clear that your family is thick as thieves, and your family is what gets you out of bed in the morning. Why do you think so many of these women that come into this, world, not even just for RHONJ, lose sight of that and just the show is number one?
What's funny? I think I can only speak to myself. I never aspired to be famous. It was never, when the show came to me, it just fell into my lap. I didn't want it, kept falling into my lap kind of thing. And I decided, okay, take it and see where you land kind of thing. Um, Even now, it's like, I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be that girl. I'm happy to stay in the background kind of thing. I think a lot of people that go on television need to have that desire to be seen. So when you get to a point in Housewives, you got to remember we're just normal women walking around every day, and all of a sudden you're thrown into this arena where you become literally famous overnight. So you really have to be grounded in who you are and know what life is about. Otherwise, you could be taken on a ride that one day you're going to get dumped, because we all do, in one way or another. I wasn't dumped, but you know what I mean. My story ended. All right. And it's a very harsh reality, even for me, that I walked away from Housewives and seeing how quickly you're forgotten. And I'm somebody that didn't care. It's a hard fall when you're up there. And so I think a lot of them have to really, and it would be nice if they kept each other grounded, but it's more of a competition than anything else. It's like who can look better and who could have the most fabulous outfit, who could have that moment kind of thing. And that's all well and good, and I think that's has a time and place. But it would be nice if we could be more positive too as human beings towards each other at the same time. So I think when you get into this world of Housewives and the fame, it could really mess with your head, really mess with your head. You're riding so high, and you think, well, I'm going to stay up here forever. No, the biggest and the best fall and are forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, look
And,
at Lisa Rinna. She's gone. But I agree. Like, if you don't, you have to have like the true self inside. And if you don't, and there is that thing that you need the external validation, like this is the drug that will give it to you because people are telling you how wonderful and great you are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
right, the yes people, and that's what ruins a lot of friendships, because you have these yes people around you, and if you're foolish enough to believe the yes people, and you forget the people that have been with you all your life, that's sad. But that happens to a lot of them. That's what happens to relationships and marriages and everything else. You believe the hype. And it's funny because I always tell my kids, and this is something we positioned in our minds many years ago, when people would say negative things, don't listen to them. When people say net positive things, it's the same thing, because you don't know me. So you're saying these wonderful things about me, and I appreciate you, but I could be the most rotten person on the planet. So you got to be in the middle, like a no man's land, and appreciate them, and thank you so much. But at the same time, it's all smoke and mirrors when you think about it.
I 100% say that all the time. That is exactly, I totally agree. You can't believe all the positive either. Love it, but you don't really know me and I'll take it. And really what you're saying is I'm doing my job well. I'll take that and we'll move on. I totally agree. Well, you've been off, you and Teresa obviously have fallen out. We all know that. You came together, you filmed a Super Bowl commercial, BravoCon. Like, where are you with Teresa today? Where would you say you are?
I don't think either of us even think about each other. Uh, Again, it's so far in my rearview mirror. I could sit in a room with her and have no problem. Um, it's not that I'm going to be knocking on anybody's door to do so, but I could do it, kind of thing. There are bigger worries in life, and bigger. We went through COVID nightmare 3 years. So when you in hindsight, when you look at the reality of today versus then, it's, you know what, you got to shake off the little things and just say, okay, I'm going to leave you back there. So she is back there, and I would assume that I am in the same place in her world.
Sometimes she brings you up quite often.
Well, you know what I mean. The same nonsense. It's just like, stop already. Stop already. Stop with the allegations. None of it's true. Just stop with the nonsense. It's been a long time since I've been on there. I'm not going back. Stop it. Just stop it.
You're not going back.
No.
Andy Cohen made a joke at the first BravoCon that, we'd probably have to back up a dump truck of money and, dump it on your front lawn. I know they offered you, they wanted you a chemistry test. As a friend of, you made it very clear, put some respect on that OG name. If they offered you, say, the exact same amount that Teresa makes, you wouldn't go back?
No. No. Mm.
That ship has sailed.
That ship has sailed. Yes. It's
Don't you
fine.
feel
The good ship to be on.
it's a good ship to be on? Listen, a lot of people say never say never. So I'm always like respectful in like a positive way when someone's like, listen, it's just, I do know other housewives I'm friends with that are just like, it's just, I'm not interested. And I'm like, I actually believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I've had many opportunities. This past season, another one. But at this point, no. I'm happy doing my little cooking show and see where we land in other phases of things. There's a lot of things on the fire here, and it's nice to have something that, even though it's like I said, a learning curve, and it'll get better as we go along. It's mine, and I can be proud about it and know that I'm putting the effort and the work in, and hopefully it grows into something that's really great.
Absolutely. Well, this past season, yes, and we don't need to talk about all these headlines we're seeing. I know you did an interview recently where you said, I just don't have the headspace to talk about this. So, Caroline, I do not want to invade your headspace here today, unless you decide you would like to talk about it, which I don't think you do.
No, I do not, but thank you for asking, but I don't.
You are welcome. But so forget housewives, would you ever consider another girls trip, manzoed with children? Like, would you ever do another Bravo show in a different respect?
Ultimate Girls Trip, no. Manzo, there's always a conversation there with working with the family, but the other thing I'm done with.
How is the family? How's Albert? How's Albie? You're a grandmother.
Everybody's great, thank you, God. Everybody's doing good. They're working hard. They're driving me crazy. My granddaughter's 6. She's my best little friend. And just moving and shaking along. I can't believe they've all got birthdays coming up in the next few weeks, and I've got some old ass kids. They're getting old. Yeah.